Look out!
The film wastes no time reminding us that Australia doesn't forgive mistakes. A father and son are driving the back roads, teasing each other, music blasting, the kind of ordinary banter that feels safe. But safe never lasts long here. In the middle of the road stands a figure, bloodied, dazed, and stupidly still. A carved heart in his chest, like some grotesque Valentine card. Brent, the son behind the wheel, swerves to avoid him. Wrong move. The car slams into a tree with brutal finality. Bark meets bone, and only Brent crawls out alive. His dad isn't so lucky. Cut to 6 months later. Brent carries the kind of guilt you can see in scars. At school, he tries to look normal, dealing smokes with his buddy Jamie, ignoring the whispers. But his calm cracks when Lola, a quiet girl with big eyes and bigger delusions, walks up and asks him to the dance. She's close enough to taste his breath. Brent's polite, but his no lands like a slap. He already has Holly, his steady girlfriend. He doesn't realize yet Lola doesn't take rejection. Later, Holly peels off Brent's shirt, tracing the cuts he carved into himself since the accident. He shrugs it off. She kisses him harder, as if she can love the pain away. Outside the fog glass, Lola watches, just stands there, staring. Creepy, silent, and hungry. Yeah, this girl isn't just looking for a date. At home, Brent's mother hovers, anxious and brittle, blaming him in half-said words for the crash. He bolts. Instead of Tuck's fittings and corsages, Brent goes cliff climbing with a razor blade dangling from his neck. His therapy is hanging off rocks and flirting with gravity. The edge nearly claims him, and maybe he almost wants it too, but he pulls back at the last second, collapsing on the grass. That's when a stranger comes. A cloth pressed over his face, a struggle muffled by heavy metal blasting through his earbuds. His phone skitters into the dirt, unanswered. His mom calls, Holly waits, but Brent isn't coming to prom. Not tonight, because Lola's just made sure her king won't dance with anyone else. Brent wakes in a nightmare dressed like a prince. A cheap tux, a crooked bow tie, and ropes digging into his wrists. His head throbs, his vision clears, and there she is, Lola, beaming like it's the best night of her life. Beside her sits her father, Eric, calm, greasy, disturbingly proud. And across the table, a silent woman with a hole drilled neatly in her forehead. Lola calls her Bright Eyes. Cute name for a lobotomized mom. Lola wants her own prom, and Brent's the unwilling king. Eric tilts Brent's head back while Lola slides a syringe into his throat. Blue liquid burns down his neck, stealing his voice, turning his screams into hoarse whimpers. They smile like it's foreplay. Dinner is fried chicken and milk, a menu that's already hellish without the torture add-ons. Lola shares a wishbone with Daddy, but when he wins, she sulks. Who looks prettier? She demands, her or Bright Eyes. Eric fumbles for the safe answer. Wrong move. Lola shoves greasy chicken into her mother's mouth, furious that no one plays along with her fantasy. She tries the same with Brent, dangling chicken skin on her finger like some romantic gesture. He refuses. Eric fetches a hammer. Brent cracks, licks her finger, and tastes humiliation. Lola moans with joy. Her dad stares with jealousy. If there were ever a sign this family tree should have been cut down years ago, it's this moment. Then Brent pulls a card. He asks for the toilet. Lola doesn't bother untying it. Instead, she gulps a glass of milk, then holds it against his zipper. Go, she says, as Eric counts down with the hammer poised. 10 seconds or nail through the groin. Brent manages by 9. This is what passes for foreplay in Lola's house. But when Lola mocks his girlfriend Holly, Brent snaps. He launches a kick that sends her sprawling. In the chaos, he rips free, hops away with his legs still bound, and scrambles under Eric's car. He slices at the ropes with the razor blade he's kept hidden, every second bought with pure desperation. Eric prowls with his flashlight and his hammer. Brent rolls away just as the engine roars, nearly flattened like a kangaroo on the highway. He climbs a tree, panting, wild-eyed, clinging to branches. But Lola has an arm like a pitcher. One rock, then another. Crack. He drops, broken, screaming. They drag him back inside, tie him tighter. And this time, punishment comes sharp and final. Knives hammered through his feet, pinning him to the chair. Lola leans close, whispering cry. But Brent just stares at her, defiant, blood streaming down his legs. No tears, only hate. And hate will get him further than tears ever could. The chair becomes his throne of torment. Lola isn't done. Not even close. She straddles him with the giddy pride of a prom queen crowning her king. But instead of a paper crown, she pulls out a fork and carves, slow, deliberate, initials inside a heart, etched straight into Brent's chest. Blood wells up. His body jerks. She beams like it's art class. Then Eric sprinkles salt over the wound. Because why just scar when you can season? Brent's scream rips through the room, hoarse but raw, and Lola claps her hands like a child at a puppet show. She shows him her scrapbook next, a grotesque fairy tale of princes past. Page after page of boys she kidnapped, posed, destroyed. It goes back years. Brent's stomach turns. One picture in particular freezes him. Timmy Valentine, the bloodied kid who stood in the road that night. The reason his dad is dead. Lola and Eric made him, too. They've been at this for years, feeding their twisted prom ritual with the bodies of other people's sons. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Jamie and Mia are still outside the actual school dance. Booze in hand, smoke curling in the air, ignoring the party inside. It's an odd reprieve, a reminder that while some teens are sneaking shots and awkward kisses, Brent's being dismantled in a pink hellscape. 2 different proms, 2 different kinds of torture. Back at the dance, Lola places a crown on Brent's head. Hers sparkles pink, his drips red. Eric takes their photo, capturing the memory of her perfect night. She tells Brent she's saving a certain wedding song for when she finds her real prince. But you're not it. And then she asks her dad to dance. He hesitates, but only for a second, because in Lola's world, boundaries aren't walls. They're suggestions. Brent watches, razor blade hidden beneath him, waiting, seething. He's already bled, already been broken. But he hasn't been beaten. Not yet. And when Lola leans in for that kiss with her father, Brent knows one thing for sure. Tonight is going to end in blood. Eric chops the head off the roadkill they picked up earlier, blood dripping like it's part of the decor. He and Lola roll back the rug in the living room, revealing a trapdoor. From the dark below comes the sound of screams. Guttural, feral, human but not. They toss meat and water down like zookeepers feeding the animals. Except these animals used to be boys, just like Brent. That's the future Lola has in mind for him. Another pet in the basement, lobotomized and forgotten. Back at the prom that's not a prom, she decides it's time for her favorite craft project. She takes the drill Eric hands her and presses it against Brent's skull. The whine of the bit fills the room. She pushes. Brent convulses as steel bites in a bone. Then she does it again, as if one hole isn't enough. Her plan is simple. Hollow him out until there's nothing left but obedience. Eric boils a kettle, ready to pour scalding water straight into Brent's brain. A homegrown lobotomy kit. But Lola makes a mistake. She hasn't taken his blade. As she gloats, Brent cuts free. The drill slips from her hand, and he turns it on them. Rage takes over. He drives the blade into Eric, ripping his throat, hammering foot knives back into flesh, this time not his own. Eric chokes, stumbles, eyes wide. Brent shoves him into the open pit, where the creatures below finally have fresh meat. His screams mix with theirs until he's gone. Lola lunges at Brent, clawing, shrieking. He spins, slams her to the ground, and punches until his knuckles split. Years of pain, guilt, fury, all of it lands on her face. It should end here. But Lola doesn't die easy. She shoves him into the pit. Slam! The hatch shuts above him. Brent hits the bones of boys who came before, and the victims, the broken ones, shamble toward him in the dark. He has nothing but a hammer, a torch, and pure survival left. Above, Lola tidies up, murders her own mother, bright eyes, with a pillow, whispering goodnight, Mom. Then she sets her sights on Brent's mom and Holly. Because this queen doesn't accept defeat, and Brent hasn't even seen her final move yet. Down in the pit, Brent stands on a mountain of bones, the literal remains of Lola's prom king's past. The broken ones crawl toward him, eyes vacant, teeth gnashing, voices guttural. Once they were boys. Now they're meat puppets, chewed up by drills and boiling water, left to rot in a hole. Brent swings wildly with the hammer, torchlight bouncing off jagged skulls. He's outnumbered, but not out yet. Every strike is survival. Every scream echoes the promise. He won't be next. Above ground, Mr. Valentine, Mia's dad, the cop, finally arrives. He breaks into the blood-streaked house, gun drawn, calling Brent's name. He follows the noises to the pit, hears the frantic clang of bone against bone. Hope flares as he opens the hatch. But Lola is already behind him. A cleaver flashes. The blade sinks into his skull with a sickening crack. He topples like dead weight, crashing into the pit beside Brent. Just like that, another father is gone. Brent watches, helpless, as the one man who could have saved him becomes another body for the pile. Lola snatches the officer's gun, waving it like a toy. Brent lunges, desperate, firing every shot. Each bullet misses. Plot armor keeps Lola untouched, grinning high on the kill. She leans close, venom sweet on her tongue. You took my daddy, so now I'll take your mummy. And Holly. And then she walks, barefoot, knife in hand, scrapbook under her arm, through the Australian bush, straight toward Brent's world. 2 working cars sit in the driveway, but Lola? She prefers the theatrical route. Her revenge served on foot. Back in the pit, Brent stares at the carnage. Then he stares at the bones, pile high, jagged, endless. And in those bones, he sees a ladder, a way out. Meanwhile, up ahead, headlights cut through the dust. Holly's car. She slows, confused by the lone figure in the middle of nowhere. Then Lola hurls her scrapbook against the windshield, forcing Holly to slam the brakes. Before she can react, Lola yanks open the door, knife flashing. But Holly isn't as soft as Brent was when this started. She kicks Lola square in the face, bolts out of the car, and runs into the night. Lola staggers up, laughing, wiping blood from her lip. The hunt is on. Back in the pit, Brent's hands bleed as he stacks bones, building a grotesque staircase out of the dead. The screams of the broken ones rise around him, clawing, grasping. But rage makes him faster. He climbs, every step a rebellion against Lola's little kingdom of pain. At the top, he pulls himself out, gasping in the cold air. He doesn't hesitate, grabs the police car, engine roaring, and floors it. The speedometer climbs past 140. He's done running. On the road, Holly sprints through the headlights. Brent's heart lurches. Another figure in the road, just like before. Another choice between swerving and smashing. But this time, fate flips. He swerves around Holly and slams straight into Lola. She smacks the hood, flung like a rag doll, but she doesn't die. She never dies easy. Crawling, dragging herself across the asphalt, knife still in hand. She inches toward Holly like some demon from Queen refusing to leave the stage. Brent and Holly reunite in the car, breathless, shaking, crying into each other. It should be over, but Brent looks back and sees her, Lola, groaning, crawling, still alive. And he's not leaving it unfinished. He slams the car in reverse. Tires screech. Lola looks up just in time to see her king crown her for real. Metal crushes flesh. The queen is dethroned in the middle of the road, bloodied scrapbook pages fluttering in the wind. This time it's finished. Brent drives home with Holly, headlights burning through the dawn, both of them collapsing into the arms of his mother. A broken family stitched back together in a hug, scarred, battered, but alive. And on the road behind them, the loved one who wouldn't let go finally lies still. The nightmare's over.